Point is, most people feel as though someone voicing their worth then makes them and their path less worthy, or that the act of celebrating oneself is associated with bragging. But this couldn't be further from the truth. We have to recognize the difference between someone just acknowledging their self worth versus devaluing the worth of others. Those who devalue the worth of others should be the only group told to be humble. I remember back in high school, I tried out for our varsity basketball team, right? And I was just hyping up how good I was to all my friends. I talked so much crap. And it's funny, I didn't even make the freshman team. But one of my close friends, he ended up making the varsity. It was two of them actually. They ended up making the varsity team. And at the time, he was so excited. One of my friends was so excited. So he came to me and wanted to talk to me about, just how good of a tryout coaches said he had. He never rubbed it in my face. He just was excited for his accomplishment and wanted to share that with me, his friend. At the time, I felt like he was bragging because I didn't make any team at all. So instead of telling him congratulations, I told him to be humble. Disgusting. And I could go on with more personal instances, or that from family, friends, or colleagues. Or if you're on LinkedIn, you may notice engagement from posts anytime someone wishes to share their accomplishment with others in their network. Point is, most people feel as though someone voicing their worth then makes them and their path less worthy, or that the act of celebrating oneself is associated with bragging. But this couldn't be further from the truth. We have to recognize the difference between someone just acknowledging their self-worth versus devaluing the worth of others. Those who devalue the worth of others should be the only group told to be humble. The issue, right, is that no one really knows what humble means. And I'm going to read off the definition. I'm looking down just because I'm going to read it directly off my tablet right now. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, humble as an adjective means not proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive. And I actually wanted to make a note here. If you look up the term proud and haughty, they contradict themselves. So again, it's okay for you to be pleased with yourself without making others feel as though they're inferior. And humble as a verb reads to destroy the power, independence, or prestige of. And if that's not good enough, Google's homepage definition really isn't even better. Humble as an adjective on Google's homepage reads having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. And then humble as a verb means to lower someone in dignity or importance. So you're telling me this is how you want people to feel about their accomplishments? You basically want to destroy the credibility of their importance? Sounds insecure to me. You should want to celebrate any milestones however you choose, as long as you don't devalue the worth of others. Imagine if everyone hid their accomplishments because of this be humble culture. That would mean shutting off a form of inspiration. As a content creator or a creative writer, I love seeing the accomplishments from other creatives. That doesn't mean that I'm all of a sudden less worthy. And as a creative entrepreneur, I love seeing heights reached from other entrepreneurs. That doesn't mean that I'm not capable of reaching those heights. But that mindset really starts with giving up the comparison game and focusing on what's meant for you. So, how does someone become this sure of themselves? Actually, how did I even overcome feeling as if my friends owed me anytime they shared an accomplishment with me? Rather than tell someone that simply wants to celebrate their accomplishments to be humble, celebrate with them. But that's hard to do if insecurities aren't catered to. And it's best to look inward first and water the roots so any external conditions simply complements your foundation. If you go online right now and search up how do I build confidence, how to gain confidence, whatever, right? You'll find a bunch of advice talking about basically become a fashion icon, hit the gym, change your body language, and a lot more unhelpful advice, really. But what I want to do is take a completely different approach and help you again to water the roots. Let's start with getting to know yourself. The main objective here is to basically develop self-awareness. Monitor your stress, thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Self-awareness encourages us to tap into vibrations, which is simply communication between ourselves and the universe. We need to be able to confess that certain external conditions were the trigger, so then we can look internally to discover why that is. Our emotions serve as a guide for certain elements to be catered to. The secret is to acknowledge what we feel, accept how we feel, and then seek solutions. Once you adopt that mindset, now we can flow into the next stage of growth. Next is improve habits. So this one is pretty straightforward, right? You basically want to note those discoverable elements that you want to improve upon. And you want to create a plan or a routine that will help you implement more positive habits to help you achieve your ideal outcome. The last one is probably the most important, and that's validate yourself. Any outside validation only distracts you from your purpose. And actually, it breeds a false sense of confidence because without it, you're nothing. Preparation is the secret to becoming sure of ourselves. If I've been practicing a certain habit over a period of time, then it'll eventually become second nature. And as a result, you'll be able to basically say, if I do X, then I'm confident I'll get Y result because I've done it so many times before. And notice doesn't mean that you overestimate the task at hand, but there should be no uncertainty in achieving your ideal outcome, which will help you focus on performing. As you develop confidence, you're able to embrace not only your own value, but you begin to have empathy for the value of others. We were all created from energy and house gifts that make each of us unique. So continue to celebrate and share those gifts with the rest of us, and always remember to be respectful, don't devalue others, stop comparing yourself, and it's okay to give yourself credit. If you vibe with my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you disagree, if you agree, if you want to share your perspective, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next video.